Hey guys, KallTorak here. Today, I want to bring you an update on my Magma barrier build. It's gotten pretty insane. Way better than I expected. Right now, I'm doing 1.5 million damage on average with Magma Blast. I have gotten this over 3 million, but it was at the cost of a lot of defenses, so I had to run that back. But it is pretty awesome. Considering you can chain cast it with fast block, the DPS here is nuts. I have cleared a large amount of the game's bosses now with this build, Breach boss, Sanctum, and Ultimatum bosses. I just haven't found any citadels for this guy yet. My survivability is way better, and most importantly, my movement speed has greatly improved. My clear times are solid, and I am very, very rarely dying. Actually, I don't think I've died since I've made these adjustments. Magma Barrier scales insanely well off a spell gem level. When stacking this as much as possible, you get some insane numbers. I am currently using a two-handed mace for plus 7 melee skills, plus 2 melee skills on my gloves, plus 4 fire skills on my neck, and I also picked up this plus 3 Magma Barrier jewel. Each spell gem level at this point is over 500,000 more damage. The crazy part is that this isn't even the peak. We can get 2 more fire skill ranks on the neck if it was corrupted to plus 6. My Magma Barrier gem is only level 19 right now. If I can get a corrupted level 21 gem, that's another 2 ranks. That could easily put me over 5 million damage based off the rate that I'm scaling. One of the biggest additions to this build was parrying motion. This has made me zoom in mapping, especially versus certain mob types. By socketing mobility and unbreakable in the resonating shield, you are an unstoppable freight train. I have solved almost every issue I've had with all my previous melee and reflect builds, but I do want to make one thing very clear before you guys try this build. If you haven't played melee in Path of Exile 2, it can be one of the most frustrating experiences at times. The melee physics, depending on the mob type, is just insanely bad. It doesn't happen too often. Overall, though, it is a fantastic ride. I am having a blast. For Ascendancy, I believe you can run this as any warrior or mercenary Ascendancy. I will be showcasing this as Witch Hunter, but I have tested this on my Warbringer. There is nothing super important or required from any of the Ascendancies for this build, so you can make this work with really whatever, maybe even a Witch, stack Energy Shield regen, go Infernalist. Maybe I'll have to try that. I am personally liking Witch Hunter, but at this point my damage is so high the Ascendancy doesn't matter. The concentration is nice for bossing. If their abilities have longer cooldowns, in theory they should attack more. Plus when they are low concentration they take 30% more damage. My understanding of more damage is that it is multiplicative, so this may be huge. However, Titan provides additional tankiness, and Gemly provides plus 1 to skill gems. Gem quality doesn't matter for Magma Barrier, but that plus 1 spell gem rank when you're at the highest possible ranks could be an insane amount of damage. Okay, so I want to just try and go through all the updates if you watched my last video, but I'm also going to try and explain it in a way for the new people. So let's just talk about the gems real quick. So Mace Strike doesn't matter. Magma Barrier, you want this as high as possible. Like I said, this is all of the scaling comes from gem skills. So get this as high as you can. Mine's only 19. This can go to 21, I think. In it, I have Elemental Focus, Fire Infusion, Fire Mastery, and Magnified Effect. I really like the increased area. It just makes clearing the entire screen so much easier. And then all of these just increase its damage significantly. Resonating Shield, this is one of the most important parts of this build. You are going to be doing almost all of your blocking with this. A lot of the problems you might have, like in other Resonating Shield builds, is your block threshold just gets completely destroyed. When you're blocking and you take mobs, this little bar down here will eventually fill up. Since I've made a lot of changes to my build, I have never had this fill up ever again. I have completely solved myself getting stunned. By increasing that block is based off stun threshold. So there's lots of ways to fix that, and I'll show you in the tree. But I am able to just essentially the entire time I'm mapping, I'm doing this. And when I'm getting more blocks, it increases my move speed. It's really, really powerful. Inside Resonating Shield, we have Unbreakable. This is, again, makes us to where we're taking so little damage, and there's other things we have that increase threshold. Why do I have this? Oh, right. If I do get stunned, I was dealing with stun issues at some point. This will save you. I haven't been stunned in so long, so I probably need to swap this out. Mobility and movement speed. It's all about moving as fast as you can. And when we have... where is it? Oops. I didn't mean to open the map. So we have the parrying motion, which I talked about at the beginning. This gets you so much move speed. So those two combined, you start zooming while casting Resonating Shield. You'll be even faster when you're not casting it, but the move speed penalty is not that big of a deal. And then lastly, Soul Thief. I only put this in here because I am starting to have mana issues with it, and since it is my primary source of blocking now, because you don't want to do the normal block anymore, Ray Shield, because you don't have the stun threshold and you don't have mobility. You never want to just use default Ray Shield. As you saw, it wasn't even on my bars anymore. I am entirely doing all of my blocking with Ray Shield, and I do want to talk about something real quick. Let's talk about Shield Charge. Shield Charge says, where is it? While charging, your shield is raised and you will block all incoming attacks. Magma Shield says, when your shield is raised, when you raise your shield, infuse it with magma. Now, right now, Shield Charge is not putting Magma Barrier on it. If anyone, like, knows someone at GGG or, like, wants to make a bug thread about it or something, I feel like it should be triggering Magma Barrier, and that would be a huge quality of life to the build if we were just able to spam Shield Charge, and as you're running at mobs, they, like, the Magma Barrier can proc. But yeah, as of right now, that doesn't proc. But yeah, Resonating Shield is super, super important, and it is literally all you're going to be doing. You're just doing this. Scavenge Plating, it is huge because you're breaking armor constantly with Resonating Shield. You just want the +1 physical support gem to just get it higher. The main reason we're doing this is for the armor. Right now, I am at 3,867 armor. I think I get over 6,000 with Resonating Shield. It's a lot. It ends up being a huge boost and makes you super tanky. Another reason why you're just constantly spamming this is make sure you're always at full stacks. Leap Slam, I've got momentum. Leap Slams, I never use it because you will get stunned during it since you don't have the stun threshold. I never use it in fights mainly. I use it to get around terrain. So it's just like if you see a shortcut you can leap over, you leap slam. I probably should put stuff in Shield Charge. I haven't really thought about it. Flammability. I was using this on bosses for a while. I mean, I still use it on some bosses. I don't like one-shot all bosses. But yeah, it just makes you hit with your spell harder. Time of Need. I have it with Fast Forward and Vitality. It's just extra healing, extra survivability. I was trying some other support gems, but Spirit gems, but Time of Need is by far the best. None of your Mace Strike matters. You will never use this. You will never use it. I never swing. It is almost all this. Then you run, and you do that. Now, if you see here, I want to talk about this real quick. When you do, I'll just do it with Ray Shield so you don't get distracted by the Resonating Shield. It lasts for about a second, and then if you hold it, it won't go back up. It doesn't matter how long I sit here, Magma Barrier will never come back up until I let go and do it again. It's the same thing with Resonating Shield, right? So you have to eventually release it. Now, if a mob does not hit, this is the skill ceiling part of this build. You actually have to start paying attention, especially when it's low mob counts. When there's like 50 mobs hitting you, it doesn't matter. You can spam. It's like you can just spam it all you want with hard mob counts. But when low mob counts, you actually have to start learning how their attack animations work. Not all attack animations will trigger the block that will make Magma Barrier burst. So there is something like you have to just learn each mob type. So this is actually kind of a decent build for like learning every type of mob in the game to where you're not like just blasting them with one shots and moving on, never seeing their mechanics. But yeah, when you miss the stun, as you can see here, like if I do it twice really fast, it's not putting it back up immediately, right? There's like a 1 second cooldown when you miss the block. but when you hit it, let's say a mob hit me here, that instantly resets. So you're able to just like, if you're hitting blocks, you're able to machine gun them. So there is some like skill technique coming here. It's very much like parrying and like Souls-like games where you want to like hit the timing and you can really machine gun it. Okay, so let's talk about, I mean, I've got all my reses as a super cat, but let's talk about my gear real quick. So we got a two-hander now. Obviously, in my last build I was using a one-hander. I did end up getting Giant's Blood, so we had to get a lot of strength. There are like, if you're going gemling or like one of the multi stat builds, there are good hammers that do not have high strength requirements. I think I might actually have one because I was playing with one in a build. This might be good for it. Do I still have it? I do. Yes, I still have it. Aha! So perfect. So this one only has 104 strength requirement versus this one has 117. So you can get these lower, and if you had like high dex, high end, like if you're playing Gemling or something, I don't know. You know, there are multiple options for maces you can get. The important thing here is +7 to melee skills. That's required. It has to be +7. You need increased elemental damage with attacks. That does buff Magma Barrier. And last but not least, gain life per enemy killed is super important. It constantly is full healing me in these battles. I cannot stress how important it is for like when you're getting hit by 50 mobs in Breach and stuff. Is it required? No, but it is. I never life flask ever anymore, ever, because of like just I'm killing 50 mobs at a time, and with 84 life per enemy killed, it's just full healing me, and like I'm not even really taking damage anymore at this point. Next most important piece is your gloves. Again, +2 to melee skills here. Firepower Solar Amulet is +4 to all fire skills. When corrupted, you can get this to +6, which is probably what I'm going for next with my currency. Back to the gloves. You don't need accuracy rating anymore. I talked about accuracy rating in my last video. Get as much armor as you possibly can. Max your resistances, melee skill. The reason we don't need accuracy anymore is I have taken this note here. Your hits can't be evaded, never deal critical hits. We weren't stacking crit anyways, and now I don't have to worry about accuracy at all. So don't worry about accuracy on your gear. And then every other piece, like I don't have the fire damage anymore on my rings. You could still get that. It does increase it, but instead I've just been worried. I've focused on getting as much strength as I can for the two-handers, getting as much defensive as possible, and capping my reses. Oh, I forgot to talk about Cloak of Flame. If you're running a physical build, you have to run this. A lot of the reason why I'm tanky is Cloak of Flame. Like I showed you guys earlier, I'm at 88% fire res, 80% lightning, and 78% cold. For movement speed, I got 35% move speed boots. I got stun threshold on them and increased armor. As you can see, for a lot of the off pieces, these rings are pretty good. I was able to get my this ring's okay. This ring's good. I was able to get my rarity over 100%, and I could get it to like 150 if I had a rarity on this ring, which might be my next upgrade. But yeah, it's really just about getting armor on all your pieces, because the armor does help, and there are ways you can get even tankier than I am. Oh, and your shield. Sorry, I almost forgot to talk about the shield. You need a high armor shield. The higher your armor, the better. You want a high block chance shield, especially if you're not playing Warbringer. You need a high block as possible. And then physical damage reduction. I would recommend a shield with over 1,000 armor, so when you're shopping, just search for 1,000 armor and get one that's higher than 1,000. And then get the resistances on it. But increased block chance and the 1,000 armor are the most important stuff. You need to be able to hit block cap, which is 75%, and then I have to put jewels in with block chance on them to hit block cap. So this is a very important piece. So weapon, gloves, shield, neck, chest, all required pieces, and then you fill with these 4 or 5. I do have 2 charms. I'm running double freeze right now. I freaking hate freeze, so I'm just doing this to never get frozen. I don't think I need them though. I can't remember last time I was frozen. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do for jewels here. Let's go to the passives, though. It is in a very different condition than the last time you guys saw. So let's talk about the changes here for Witch Hunter. So like I said, I went for the concentration. I believe, like I've been told, more is insane. It's multiplicative. So you could deal up to 30% more damage to bosses. And we're already doing 1.5 million, so yeah. Went for Culling Strike. And then the increased area of effect. Path down here to get increased area of effect, just to clear as much of the screen as possible. Block chance stuff, and then damage per block chance. These block chance damages are actually kind of big for our DPS. It's like hundreds of thousands of damage right now. Path over here, got these move speed nodes, because really like, a lot of the problem was just moving around the map because we have so much armor. And I've like completely just solved that. A lot of the jewels are like this. Fire damage, area of effect, block chance are the important ones you want to get. Parrying motion over here is important. Very important. It's like a lot of my mobility now. And more block chance. Path through here for some elemental damage with attacks. Magma Berry is an attack. And then I think my next point when I hit 90 I'm going to put here for the extra elemental penetration. I'm just missing the 1 point. Path down here, increase defenses from equipped shield since we have a Giga Shield. This is huge. And then 1% attack damage for 75 armor on the shield, more damage. And then we got the block recovery here and then the block chance, which is nice. Got this jewel node again because I needed the block chance. Oh, so right here I've got my Prism of Belief. +3 to Magma Barrier skills. If you play Gemling, you're familiar with this area, or any stat sacker. This just makes it easier to wear gear. Without this area, I was not able to wear any two-handed weapon. This was required for my current state of my gear and build. More increased area of effect. We got some fire penetration here, just to help with like the elemental resistance maps. More block chance. I need to get more area effect though. Max fire is super important. Again, it's because of Cloak of Flame. The higher of our fire resistance, the better. So we got this note here. Giant's Blood for the two-handed. Attack damage 50%. This is a good amount of damage here. Let's see if I can show you on screen how much we lose. So we're at 1.5 million. Take it off. Oh, let me get to the guy. Yes. And now we are at 1.4. So it's like 90k damage. If you don't want to take this area, you don't have to. If you want to go into more defensibility, but defensiveness, but I've just been looking for ways to push my damage a little bit more, so I can try like really one-shotting bosses. More max life, stun threshold. Stun threshold is huge. It's like, again, I'm pretty sure it's what's making my blocks not break anymore. So big node here. Got the extra strength here. I did actually take this one piece here for the get block cap. Depending on what your block is at, you might need to take more block nodes. So you might have to make sacrifices here. Got this damage node here. Got this node here. These aren't actually giving me block. These are just giving me damage while I'm wearing a shield. And then more resistance here. And then more increased area effect here. So that's the tree. The things that you can cut, in my opinion, if you need more survivability or more block chance, you start with this, and you start with this, and then you just shove them in the block nodes, more jewel nodes, etc. But yeah, it's in a pretty good spot. I'm not sure how much further I can push it. If you see any problems with this tree, a better route. I have rebuilt this thing so many times, and every time I rebuild it, I'm like, oh, here is like 5 passive points I've cleared up. Here's 2 more passive points I've cleared up. It's possible there is a route here that's more efficient. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm curious how far I can push it before it gets nerfed. I have a feeling it's not supposed to scale this hard purely off of spell gem levels. I'm enjoying it though. It has been quite the journey the last month. From Thorns to Arctic Armor, back to Thorns, and then to finally end up on Magma Barrier. The Reflect trifecta has been completed, and we have an endgame viable build. Thank you guys so much for all the wonderful feedback and kind words about my builds. Thank you to all my new subscribers. If you have liked this video and want to see more Magma Barrier updates, please like and subscribe. Apologies to Darth Microtransaction, we ran out of time. Take care, boys, and see you in the next one.